Here's Everyway Woman.
Different women, different opinions, and great conversation. Today's show, we're so excited, dedicated to the total woman, especially the mother. Thank you, ladies, for being here, especially Michelle. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
Some changes, huh, Michelle?
Yes, I am now sporting the baby bump.
Oh,
we love it.
It
Very
looks
much
so
along.
good on you.
I'm MIA for 3 months, and I come back with a 3-month baby bump. So there you go.
Good surprise.
Good surprise.
Yes.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So I've been reading, and of course, breastfeeding is back in the media, hot topic once again. And recently on Shine, I saw that there was a woman breastfeeding in the classroom. What do we think about this, ladies? Appropriate, inappropriate?
Inappropriate and unprofessional, because the baby shouldn't be there in the first place. I don't bring my child to work.
Do you have a child?
No, but you can't bring kids to work because it's dangerous. Something could happen to the kid.
Right.
You can't
Understandable.
effectively watch your child.
Have things change for you when you don't have anyone to watch your infant child?
Right.
It's the first day of class. You're trying to be professional. You're trying to do your job. But something out of the ordinary happens.
She shouldn't have come to work.
So
she could have had a fill-in.
Then she
should have
risks
had
tenure?
No, she should have had a fill. No, because the thing is that they said at the job that you can use absent days. She's a teacher. She's a professor.
Yes, but
They
she
have
would risk
days to take
tenure.
off.
It's the first day of class.
it's the
You want
first
to do
day
a
of
good
class.
job.
Right,
Okay,
you do, but at the same time, that's not a good job because you can't effectively teach a class if you're too busy worried about your kid, which they said was crawling around
No,
and
she
getting
had
exercise.
a teacher's assistant.
The thing that was more concerning was the fact that she brought a sick child
Right.
into a lecture
Yeah.
hall with
school.
college
Germs.
students that, there's probably more than 100 college students in a lecture hall. So that was more concerning to me than the breastfeeding aspect. But I do think that, bringing a sick child anywhere is a concern.
Yes.
I think that
Especially
should
a
be first.
classroom.
And having
First
it
and
crawl
foremost.
around on the dirty floor, and the child was crawling around. The article did say the child crawled on the floor.
Oh, but
Well,
that's
that's
not
not a
that's
big deal. I
not
mean,
the topic of
yeah.
concern.
She's
The-
sick.
It's but it's
What
about
does-
the breastfeeding.
well,
Do
okay.
you breastfeed in public?
I don't. This is my second child. I did nurse my first one for I only nursed her for the first 4 months, which I was pretty much at home. She didn't really totally take to nursing 100%. So she had a huge appetite, and I personally could not keep up with the milk. So it just ended up being that
Bottle
the
was
circumstance. Yeah, she ended up being bottle fed. And I was home for the first 3 months, so I was never really in the situation where I was publicly breastfeeding her. I was home, or I was at a family member's house. I do not have a problem with public breastfeeding.
No.
However, I do think there is a fine line in
Between work, it's professionalism.
it's a
at the end
professional
of the day.
situation.
Because in my opinion, I'm sorry, like where I work at, I couldn't bring my child to work and assist customers. That's unprofessional, and it's crazy. It's
Well,
ludicrous.
let's set
because
this
you
up
have
a
to have
second.
rules
But
and
if you
guidelines.
take a sick day, are you risking getting tenure? Are you risking your class
I can
not
risk a lot
working?
of stuff.
was it a
Like
risk?
a lot of
I'm
things
not-
that
I'm
have
not
risks.
even-
Everybody's job has risks with not taking off. But do you take your child to work? Are you allowed to even do that?
You
No
know
job
what?
is allowed to
At
do
Crown
that.
City
And
News,
at
I
school-
am allowed to bring my child. And
At-
sometimes,
Yeah.
especially when they're sick and you don't have another option,
Okay.
what do you do?
But are they going to go in front of the camera with you while you're actually?
No.
Okay,
The
exactly.
problem
That's my
is I
point.
didn't
She
have
was
a-
teaching with that baby.
I don't think the problem was that
and
the
she-
child was there.
Well,
the
the good
problem
thing
was
is
the
she
breastfeeding.
did
No, some-
announce
oh,
to
sorry.
her students. She did announce to her students before the class began that she was going to breastfeed. That if it did bother somebody, they were welcome to leave the room. She did announce
But what
And
if
these
the
were
kid? She
college
just
age
announced it,
kids.
but
These
some of
are,
the kids may have
no.
assumed that she was going to step out, breastfeed the
right.
kid, come
It's a
right back.
gender equality class. I mean, for God's sakes. I mean,
It's
if
unprofessional.
you
life
can't-
lesson
Exactly.
in
I'm
itself.
sorry.
Exactly.
Right,
If you
right.
can't, at that
No.
situation, give her a break.
No.
But she's risking her
It's
job now.
unprofessional.
It is unprofessional.
She's not risking her job.
She is.
I know
That's a
teachers
personal
and professors who have missed the first day. It's not a risk of a job. She just did not, and what she stated
know what?
specifically was that she did not want to let the class fall downhill. But this is a college or university. These are students who are self-taught. You can, as a teacher, you're a
They're so
facilitator. You don't have
independent,
to.
but they
You
can't
can
watch a
bring out
woman
the
breastfeeding?
curriculum.
It's about
you can't because
breastfeeding in
it's
public.
it's distracting and it's unprofessional. You
I
cannot
mean-
effectively teach a class with a crying baby. I'm sorry, it's just unprofessional, and it
Michelle,
should not be there.
Well, breastfeeding in public, the thing is, let's just face it, society sexualizes the breast.
They do.
Well,
But
it's totally
really,
different
but really,
thing.
breasts are there to feed your your children. So, I mean, in this situation, it's not something that I would have personally have done. I would have taken a sick day. I just think it's unprofessional, and I don't want to be sitting there in my lecture class nursing my child. I feel like I need to be focusing on one or the other. So, but I mean, if we're just talking about public breastfeeding in general, I mean,
that's okay.
That's okay.
But at the workplace, no. And the thing is that women are always crying about rights and equality and this, that, and the other, and you want to do this. But that's the same thing. If I were to get sick, I don't come to work. I have to take off work. And I do risk
you
a
are not
lot.
an assistant principal trying to move up the ladder.
She's not an assistant principal.
Mommy
She's an assistant professor.
We
If
know
you're an
that.
assistant
It doesn't
professor
matter. You
trying
have
to
to
climb
work.
the ladder, it changes
Well, she shouldn't have had
everything.
to.
Thank you
should
very much.
We
We
thought
know,
about protecting the kids. No, it's not ridiculous.
we know mommies can do this, that, and many more. Stay tuned. We'll talk about it. We'll be right back.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Everyway Woman.
Well, we all know moms can be very powerful people, but do sometimes women use mommyhood as an excuse, perhaps to let their bodies go? Michelle, I have to ask you. Only because you're
hot seat today.
No, let me clarify. Only because you're pregnant, and I'm not saying you use this as an excuse, but
Sure. No.
do you?
No, I can't. I don't know. Every pregnancy is different. I've known moms who could not get out of bed their first trimester. I've known moms who have been sick their entire pregnancies. I know moms who felt great their entire pregnancy. Like for me personally, this pregnancy has been so-so. It's a little bit rougher than my first pregnancy was. Do I want to use it as an excuse? I don't want to use it as an excuse, but is it a reason sometimes? Yes, it is a true reason. If I'm sluggish or feeling fatigue or I just can't be super mom one day, well, yeah, there's definitely a reason. Do I think that there's probably some women who may abuse that?
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
oh, I'm pregnant. I'm sure it happens as well.
Celebrity trainer Tracy Anderson has recently been receiving a lot of harsh criticism because she said a lot of women are using this as an excuse to let their bodies go.
Which is
I don't
crazy
think
to me
it's a
because
good
all she
idea,
did was, I think that she just stated a fact. Some women do. She just said a lot of women do. She did not say every single woman uses an excuse. Some women actually have legitimate reasoning for not popping back into shape or for not working out during their pregnancy or for eating more or whatever.
Well, it
Well,
depends
she gained
on your
60
body.
pounds. She gained 60 pounds with her first pregnancy. So, you know what? Should someone have kicked her when she was down and maybe not handling her
But
pregnancy?
she worked
well?
really hard to
So,
lose it in
yeah,
6
so
weeks.
then the second pregnancy, I think she only gained the healthy weight, which is 30 pounds, which should be encouraged. People should only gain 30 pounds, but some things happen for other people.
Right,
You
and
know?
many times I think what's important to remember is that, first of all, every woman is different.
Right.
There is not one pregnancy across the board for every single person that's, having a baby. I really think that in many cases, what's really smart is to learn that if you do take care of yourself early in the pregnancy, throughout your pregnancy, you're going to be better off in the end of the pregnancy.
Right.
Now, what
And
are
I
your
do
tricks
believe-
for
And not
that?
to gain too
And
much
I
weight.
do believe also, like when I was researching it a little bit, I could be a little bit off, but it said that with each pregnancy, or doctor said that you only have to take in an additional 300 calories a day when you're pregnant.
not truly eating for two.
Right, you're not
they
like
say.
some people
Right,
try
yeah.
to literally double the amount,
Yeah.
but it's like it's
Right.
a small human being.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And like for instance, Jessica Simpson, she recently admitted that she ate anything and everything she wanted to eat while she was
Well,
pregnant. She
you
was
know,
not.
we'll
She did not care
talk
about
about
fitness.
her.
Well, but what I'm saying is she's just an example, and I'm sure
people
many
who think
women
that.
do it. Of people who think, oh, I'm pregnant. This is the first time I can actually let go and not have to worry about
And
my
it's
But how
body
do you
image.
use it
But it's not true.
afterwards?
She was trying to get her Weight Watchers deals, what she was trying to do.
put on the pounds if she got
During
the
the pregnancy, what do you do to avoid the extra weight
Well,
gain besides not eating for two?
You
Is
know,
there
there's a lot of
Working
options.
out.
There's, you can go for walks. You can do
Right.
pregnancy yoga. I mean, there's different things that you can do. But once again, it goes back to every pregnancy is different.
different.
Some
Everyone
women are
is
way
sick.
too
It's not the
fatigued
same.
Or
or too
nauseous.
sick
Yeah.
to barely get out of bed and go to their
Right.
jobs.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
For me,
so
when I was pregnant, I did feel like I ate healthier than I've ever eaten. I
What
was
did you
more
eat?
fit than I
What
was.
did you wanna eat?
I really craved apples. Like I craved
Oh,
apples.
wow.
Something
That's how
light,
mine
healthy.
goes when I'm pregnant.
And I didn't want to, like if I saw Cheetos, and usually I'd be like, down in the bag, but during my pregnancy, I was like, do I want to put fake stuff in my body? Like, I was just so nervous. I wanted a healthy child.
You chose to live a healthier lifestyle.
I did not want fake things in my body.
Yeah.
You know, I avoided the turkey meat or the cold cuts and things like that. I just wanted to be healthy, and I did gain only like 25, 30 pounds.
Sandra, are you a mother?
I am, and I did have a difficult pregnancy. And I think I learned throughout my pregnancy that I shouldn't compare myself to everybody that was, going through the same type of thing. And I think it's very different for every woman. Again, I go back to that same thing, that every pregnancy is different, every woman is different.
What made it difficult for you?
I had a lot of morning sickness, and I had it throughout my whole pregnancy.
And it's not just in the morning, people.
Right, it goes all day.
Why did
all day
It's
sickness.
not because it's like mourning, as in mourning your life
So that
without
made
your
it
children.
difficult. Right. And that made it difficult. But I was very, very in tune to my body. And I knew that when I could eat, I did eat well. And when I could exercise, I did. So I was very in tune to that. And I realized early on that, okay, maybe it's not going to be the most glorious pregnancy, but I have a way of working it and doing it the right way. And I think if you recognize that, you're going to be much better off.
Right.
You're going to be much better
I'm
off.
terrified of it. You look beautiful.
I'm
You
gonna have
are
a
this
surrogate.
glowing. She's gonna have a surrogate.
Wow.
You're not always glowing,
It's not
but
glowing,
she's
it's
lucky.
sweating.
Yeah.
When you're pregnant, it's sweating. Your body temperature goes up.
Right.
But sure, you can call it a glow.
It's 9 months. We get through it. We realize that many women have gotten through it, and it's a different experience for everybody.
And at the end of the day,
Right.
I don't think the lady was really dissing as much as she was trying to educate women who are pregnant that if you can, take all measures to keep yourself healthy and in shape. Because at the end of the day, too, you can pass that on to your child so they have healthy lifestyles growing up.
I think so.
Well, we'll be talking more Mommyhood after the break. Stay tuned.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Everyway Woman.
Well, we touched on this briefly before the break, but Jessica Simpson is getting a lot of attention. She's a brand new mom here in Hollywood, and she's recently signed a $4 million deal with
That's enough
Weight
incentive
Watchers.
right there to
nice.
get in shape.
Right, exactly.
I think that's really good
Especially
incentive.
in today's economy.
What do we think about this? I mean,
I like Jessica. I got to tell you, I like Jessica a lot.
Okay.
I think she's a great woman. She's certainly taken her career in a different direction. She's probably done more with her life now in the fashion business than she ever did as a singer or an actress. She's a multi-million-dollar company now. So I think for her and her pregnancy, what she's done. She did gain a little too much weight, I think. Maybe she didn't realize it at the time.
Well, she's claiming to be an everyday woman. Now, we
Yeah,
all
the
know she's not
quote.
exactly every day.
Right.
And
Well,
she's
this is
glad
what she
she's
said
very.
specifically. She
Well-
said, "I feel like everybody can do what I'm doing. I'm not a supermodel. My body's not bouncing back like a supermodel. I'm just your everyday woman who is trying to feel good and be healthy for her daughter, her fiance, and herself."
Who's spending $40,000
Exactly, to
on
get
the
into
personal
shape.
trainer,
Yeah.
who has someone to watch the baby so she can work out
Right.
for as much as she
Exactly.
needs.
Yeah, most women don't have that.
No.
Well, I
everyday
was going to
women
say
don't.
that I think
They don't.
in Jessica Simpson's case, I think she has more of the everyday woman body type.
True.
And
She's-
philosophies, really.
Yeah, she's not the skinny mini. She's
No.
not a supermodel.
Right, she's
She's
not.
always kind of struggled with her weight.
I
She would
agree.
go from
Well,
thin to
Downy
heavier.
mac and cheese will do that.
Yeah,
to you.
well,
That
no,
was her
but-
favorite.
So I would say in that sense, her body type is like the everyday woman, but in her circumstance, she's absolutely not.
not like-
She has benefits that everyday women do not have. She has the nanny to watch the baby if she needs to go work out. She has a
Right.
personal
But-
trainer. She has a nutritionist.
Everyday women can kind of follow her philosophy in the fact that instead of a full, bag of M&Ms, she's eating a fun-size bag of M&Ms.
Yeah.
And everyday
Or
women
walk
can
the
follow
baby,
by those.
Right.
go for walks with the
Yeah.
baby so the baby gets his vitamin D. You get
her
your vitamin D in the
philosophies
workout.
you can definitely apply to any woman who's a new mom.
I think the good thing about Jessica too is she really looks at herself and realizes, well, I'm going to do things a little different now. And she looks at herself and she can laugh at herself too. I think that's important to do.
She laughs herself to the bank.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Exactly.
That's
With
a
that
good thing
paycheck.
to do for her. I think it's great. And unfortunately, most women don't have the opportunity to have, like we said, a personal trainer, a cook, a stay-at-home dad, that kind of thing.
But with
I mean,
the
those
personal
aren't the
trainers,
reality
go buy
points.
a DVD. If you can't hire
But
Tracy
you know what, though?
Anderson
It
or
is a little
Jillian
bit-
Michaels, you
Right.
ship the
Yeah.
DVDs.
Work
and
out
do it
with
home.
what you can, but at the same time, it is more motivational when someone's literally there like, get out of bed.
Exactly.
You have to do this.
Yeah.
And there's a nutritionist there to sit there and cook your food. So at the same time, it's not, I don't think she intentionally did it, but I think that, it's slightly, it could be insensitive to people who don't have the same advantages as she does to, you know, make it seem as though she does, you know, so.
Well, I love the people who are always like, oh, I just breastfed and 40 pounds
just fell off.
Right out of my
Right, exactly.
No, it
It's
didn't.
not reality.
But
it doesn't work that way for everybody.
And the hard thing is, if you do breastfeed, I think that was a big thing for me. It's like all of a sudden you don't have time. Every time you turn around, she's feeding again.
And Jessica Simpson did make the statement that she thought she would lose the weight as soon as she had the baby. And that is true to the statement that everyday women don't just lose that.
But at the same time, she severely overindulged.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and she
She
admitted to that. Yeah, she did.
We'll
She
be
did.
right back with more Everyway Woman. Stay tuned.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Everyway Woman.
We're back with more Everyway Woman. So in the year 2012, is being a mom a career move, Shanita?
Well, you know, I think a lot of moms out there don't necessarily start out thinking it's going to be a career move, but they want to do something. So, for an example, Jessica Alba, you know, has really transitioned from this actress who kind of was trying to figure out who she wanted to be as an actress, and now she's a mompreneur. Is that the word? I think it came
That's a
out
good
right.
word,
But
yeah.
she's got, you know,
word.
the Honest company that I've been following and have been very, you know, interested in. She's having like organic products for kids, and so you know what's in the products. But I think moms are just trying to figure out, like, okay, well, you know, I want something that is for me as well.
Well, what's great is you see all these successful women in their respective careers who have now become inspired by being a mom,
Absolutely.
and that's created all these new areas of revenue for these
Absolutely.
women and these new businesses, and I just think that's so inspiring. I hope when I become a mom, I'm inspired to do something great that I never even thought of before.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's good, yeah, and I think, you know, like some women will develop, you know, new business ventures from it, and I think that's really incredible. Websites.
Well, that's what I was
There you
just
go.
going to say that.
There you go.
You know, that's how a lot of mom bloggers come to be. You know, they became moms.
Absolutely.
Sometimes some of them maybe had to give up their careers and they were looking to do something, and then suddenly they started blogging, and you know,
how you have Mommyhood to
yeah, well,
Hollywood.
and then
Yeah.
my case that happened.
Duh.
You know, I was a mom, and I kind of fused my two passions, which was entertainment and being a mom, and it sort of turned into a brand and a business. And, you know, did I initially really mean for that to happen? It just kind of evolved into something, but I think that happens for a lot of moms.
Yeah,
And
I think it just depends on your personality.
Yeah.
If it's motivation to you. Some people it works, some people it won't work.
And
Some
like
people,
for
it's like your whole life
celebrities,
will go into a hole.
like Kourtney Kardashian wants to start a maternity line now.
Yeah,
You know,
but it's still a
so-
struggle for a lot of other moms to figure
Right.
out their career.
Yeah, because it's different than women that you see on TV or you know that have those
Well,
advantages.
from
Go ahead, right.
careers to motherhood to moms with careers. Who knew? Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Everyway Woman.
So after years of what women had favorable odds in custody battles, now men, they're winning a lot of the time. Sandra, have you heard about this?
I
What are
have,
your
and you know,
feelings
I
towards
think the
this?
problem now is women are professionally doing so well, and they're making a lot more money. They have a lot more obligations in the workplace as well as at home. So it's hard to leave your position now. If you're a high-powered attorney, how do you turn your back on that since you went to school and you became an attorney and, you know, you've gone through all this? Now you have a high-powered career. How do you give that up? And, you know, if it is for the sake of your kids, some women have to make that choice now, and it's a very difficult one to make.
Yeah.
What happens when a judge makes that choice for you?
Right.
You know, like in
It
the
can
case
turn
of
out
Kelly
bad.
Weatherford.
It can be
Kelly
bad.
Weatherford.
Okay,
Yeah.
the actress Kelly
Yeah.
Weatherford.
Well,
That story was
does-
heartbreaking.
yeah.
Her kids were taken away from her and brought to another country, all because the judge said, "Oh, well, you're a successful actress and you can go back and forth. It's easier for you to go
Right.
back and
They're
forth
now
than
in
her."
France.
And they're in
She's a
France, and they're
Because she's
American
the breadwinner,
citizens.
yeah.
Because she's the breadwinner. Because
Exactly.
she has a
Well, I
successful
mean, at
career.
the
She
same
was
time,
penalized.
I mean,
Sure.
is it not fair? I mean, it was like that for men in reverse, like, and it still is most of the time. Courts do still favor the mother. Most of the time, we still have the upper hand. It's just a new turnover
Well,
because of the
yeah.
fact that the tender years
But
doctrine was abolished in 1994.
But in the case of when men are seeking primary custody,
Right. It depends
over
on the
50,
situation.
no, over 50% of the time when a man is seeking primary custody, he wins.
No, that's not what the document said. It said most of the times he's going to seek full-time custody, not that he wins, because that's not actually true. If you do your research, they don't always win. It's starting to turn over in their favor only because of the fact that they turn over the economy, men not working or getting laid off, and women being
or
breadwinners.
wanting to be
And
home
or
with
wanting
their
to be
kids.
home people. But home parenting. But since the beginning of time, for the most part, women have been at home. We've taken care of the kids. The men have been the breadwinners. And a lot of times in court case situations, they lose. They lose out on their kids. A lot of times they have women who won't let them see their children. They're paying all this food. They want to see them, but women are spiteful sometimes. So the thing is that
And
it's just
men
kind
are
of
too.
turning over. The tides are just starting to change so that they're not always getting the bad end of the stick when it comes to their children sometimes.
I definitely think that, the only positive thing is that, now both parents have to present themselves as who's the better parent? Like, who should these kids really be with? Because there are a lot of great men out there who are great dads who care for their kids.
Right.
But the hard part is that, yes, I mean, when you're, for men as well who, maybe were out there and thinking, well, I'm doing the best for my family, and now I'm being hurt because of it.
Right.
I'm getting my family
It's a
taken
tough
away.
call. It really is a tough call for both parties involved. It
I'm
always
glad
is.
to hear that there are men fighting for their kids
I
instead of
love
all these
that.
deadbeat
Right.
dads that are out
Absolutely.
there, So, I mean, it is kind of a
I
good
hope
change
that
in that
somebody is
sense.
actually paying some attention to the children, though, in this
Yes,
case,
Of
too.
course,
And
their
that-
needs.
Exactly. Maybe they're not just listening to the father or the mother in this case, but somebody is representing the children, because
Well,
I think
that's what-
so often
That's what
they're
it is,
getting
though. They're saying,
overlooked.
like, well, he's home more often, or his job doesn't require as much of him as your job does, so he's better fit because he can be there. And when it comes to raising kids, it is best sometimes to be there as much as you can, rather than having your child be a latchkey kid. You know what I mean? So.
And it's difficult to have the kids. You can't bring a kid into court and say, who do you want to be with,
Right.
mommy or
Right.
daddy?
Fair.
I mean,
It's
that's not fair to
children
them.
to
So
do that.
it's
I really
it-
think
yeah.
kids benefit from both parents. They really do.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to make a child make a choice like that. It's not. It's
Or
not
a
something you wanna
country,
do.
in the case of
Yes.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in Kelly's case, she had a contract commitment too, so you
Yeah.
can't get out of a contract. She's on a show. Again, her hands are tied. What does she do?
Her hands are tied.
Right.
Well, we'll see what happens. Stay tuned for more Every Way Woman after the break.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Every Way Woman.
We're back with a little girl talk. So a recent study was just released that American women are sleeping less. Ladies, do we think we're to blame for that?
My husband says that I'm to blame for that.
I'm to
because
blame.
because he says I go to bed too late. I'm always tired, but I'm like I always have too much to do.
Right,
And he's
the
like,
super
just go to bed. No, I can't just go to bed because I have to give the baby a bath. I have to pack her lunchbox. I have to get her school clothes ready.
Does
this,
he ever
this, and
say,
that.
"Let me help you"?
He does.
Okay.
He does. And
But
we have our
that,
moments,
a lot of
but
women have that whole superwoman complex.
exactly.
I
And it's-
don't think
sometimes
American
it's hard for us
women
to ask for help.
Yeah, we don't delegate our responsibilities to everything. We have this like I'm superwoman.
Right.
I will just do it all. Well, there's not enough hours in the day to do it all, so I just don't sleep.
Yeah.
Well, I have a friend who she's a primary breadwinner for her family, and when the situation has changed, when it's the men who are the breadwinners, they can come home and they can still just kind of take it easy, have the food ready for them, all of that. But when it's the women, they come home from their working day, and then they have to continue. They're the ones who are getting the food ready. They're the ones who are
Right.
getting the kids ready, and the men kind of just step back. And that's the situation for one of my friends. So I feel like it's just expected that women have to keep going and doing things, and they're just gender roles that
It is.
are
I also hate
determined.
I mean, I don't want to put a stereotype out there or anything, but when we delegate to men, they call it nagging.
They do.
And then when we don't delegate, they say, well, why don't you just ask?
Right.
Oh my gosh, I mean, you can't win
Or
either
they
way,
don't do
you
it
know?
right. Or they don't do it right.
But even
Right.
Yeah,
even
that's
when
what my husband says, yeah.
Sandra, even when you do lay down at night, though, do you lay down and close your eyes, or are you laying there?
I'm
with
always
your
thinking.
eyes open.
I'm always thinking.
thinking.
I'm always organizing. I'm a big organizer. So I'm trying to organize things I'm going to do around the house, things I'm going to do for my son, things I'm going to do for me,
Yeah.
which is always last. But I'm a big organizer. So by
Yeah.
the time I actually fall asleep, there's time in there spent where I'm trying to remember everything that has to get done.
And that's a big thing. I think part of the reason sometimes I stay up later because it's just time for me. Like
Right.
after I get
Yes.
done with everything,
Absolutely.
I can just
You
do
have
my
to do
own
that.
thing.
Yeah.
And you know what?
unwind.
I know I'm hurting myself for the next day, but it feels good
It
right
feels
then.
so good. I've tried everything too. I sleep with an eye mask. I'd probably look ridiculous. There's nothing sexy about the way I sleep. I've got the mask. I've got these sleeping gloves.
The
these
green
sleeping
mask.
gloves. I do too. I've got it all, and just
Yeah.
nothing's working. But at least it's like my me time.
I don't
my
have any trouble
zen
falling
time.
I
asleep.
know.
No,
What did I do
I don't have that.
Yeah, I don't have trouble falling
No
asleep
trouble
once I go
falling
to sleep.
asleep.
What's
but-
your secret?
Oh, I just fall
Put my
asleep.
head down.
I put my head down and pillow.
I'm so exhausted.
I am
So like
too, yeah.
fatigue puts me to sleep. I'm
Right.
done. Once I'm done, I'm done.
And they say that people who fall asleep that quickly, they are way fatigued because it
Right.
should take a little bit to kind of
Time to-
settle
yeah.
down. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad at least one of us is sleeping.
You're sleeping.
Get your rest. It's so important. Stay tuned here on Everyway Woman.
This has been an Everyway Woman production.